Hey everyone, it's Dr. RAMANI. Question for you. Do all narcissists cheat? Drop it in the comments. Tell me what you think. Do you think they all cheat or not? Did the narcissistic person in your life, the relationship you were in, did that happen? All right? And if you're new to this channel, I am Dr. RAMANI, and this channel is a deep dive into all things related to narcissism and narcissistic relationships, to ask and grapple with questions like this. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and join this community of people who are learning so much about narcissism every day. And if you want to be told each time we have a new video, just hit that notification bell. But let's go back to the pressing question. Do all narcissists cheat? So personally, when I do my little browsing on the internet, I am struck by how much online content on narcissism and narcissistic relationships are focused on cheating. So obviously that's where this question came from. Every other blog I was like, cheat, cheat, cheat. But do they all cheat? No. And that's where this all gets confusing. So let's break this down. Not all cheaters are narcissistic. Not all narcissists cheat. So let's start with the cheating narcissists first and get them out of the way, shall we? Let's think about what infidelity or cheating or betrayal in a relationship are about. It reflects what? A lack of empathy, entitlement, grandiosity, validation seeking, superficiality, impulsivity, arrogance, egocentricity, most of the ugly high points of narcissism. Someone who cheats is in no way, shape, or form taking into account the feelings of the other person, the person they're cheating on. When I work with cheaters in therapy, my question to them is, did you think about how your behavior would affect the person you are cheating on? Did you see your partner's face in your mind when you were texting or touching or having sex with the person you were cheating with? And in most cases, the answer at the time they were doing those things, it was no. To me, that reflects a lack of empathy and a lack of self-reflective capacity. If you don't agree with it, drop in the comments, but that's how I see it. In this online age we live in, cheating has become way too easy. Instagram DMs, dating sites, flirty emails, it's too easy. Narcissistic folks are impulsive, so anything that gives them a quick reward, drugs, spending money, gambling, and being shady online, their impulsivity means that they send the DM to the attractive person and they just don't think. Narcissists are also expert rationalizers, so they will say stupid things like, oh, sending a DM or a dick pic isn't cheating. When you're the one being cheated on, discussions around semantics and behavioral specificity are not particularly appealing. My personal bias is that shady behavior online is cheating because it is drawing the emotional juice out of the primary relationship. And that's my position. But this combination of ease, quick validation, entitlement, and impulsivity that we see in the narcissist, bam, that online stuff and that shady stuff, that's the narcissist mothership. Now, cheating also reflects the narcissist's use of relationships as a place to regulate and as places of domination. They use relationships to get a sense of power and pleasure, which they feel entitled to, and so having even more relationships added on are a way to do that. I remember once hearing the story of a narcissistic guy who had horribly emotionally abused his wife. He cheated on her with a long-term mistress, and then cheated on the mistress with some quick and dirty one-night stand type things. He was so entitled and just so in love with his power at the time. And he was just mainlining the validation he was getting from these women. His career was going really well. He had tons of money. So it was as though he just couldn't get enough of the validation and power. But this story actually has a happy ending. This guy ended up shitting where he eats, and he ended up having a liaison with somebody at work. He got fired. He lost lots of money that he would have originally gotten because of a morality clause in his contract. He ended up in a crappy living situation, and he would still talk about his glory days like a sad drunk in a corner bar. And the ringer was that his new girlfriend that he got after his fall from glory and living in his new seedy apartment, she cheated on him. So there is justice, folks, just not in every story, but that was one of the justice-y ones. Now, the need for validation that narcissists need, as well as their need for novelty, that also means that cheating is very much their ground game. The narcissism infidelity connection has been pretty well documented by relationship researchers for a while. Grandiose narcissists tend to be the worst cheaters, but malignant narcissists can be pretty bad too because they have so little empathy, relatively little remorse, and they're willing to use people for anything. It's a little bit more rare that the vulnerable narcissists cheat, and that's they were lucky that they even got out of the house long enough to find you. But they need validation as much as other folks do, so they may feel that if the opportunity came up, that they have the right to cheat because life has been so unfair to them, or some other twisted, victimized justification. But it is more rare. So, for those of you who have been cheated on by narcissists, you may not be surprised by it at all that they did it to you, because for some of you, you may come to find out that your own relationship with them may have started in a sort of blurry space. Narcissistic folks tend to be serial cheaters, and after they are caught, may beg for forgiveness, you forgive them, then they cheat again. They justify, rationalize, and will often blame their partners, you, by saying things like, oh, you weren't around enough, you stopped having sex with me as much, you were too busy, that whole gambit of blaming the person they hurt and cheating on them. So when a narcissist cheats on you, the puzzle pieces fit, right? You get it. You read the thousands of blogs and watch the thousands of videos on cheating narcissists, and you find that a whole community has been through a narcissistic cheat experience, and then that's that. But that goes to the original premise of what this video is about. They don't all cheat. What's that about? The self-righteous ones, self-righteous narcissists, it's a long shot that they would cheat. They get their supply and their validation from being oh so morally upright and better than the rest of us. Now, if they are too morally upright, sometimes you may see a reaction formation kind of thing, like when the Rolls-Royce preachers out there who claim to have a direct line to God are found with their parishioners or other admirers in a hotel room. But by and large, the self-righteous folks will judge infidelity and cheating behavior, and they're content to get their validation by staying on their moral high ground and judge those who are unfaithful. The neglectful narcissist may not cheat either because relationships are not particularly interesting for them and they may not care that much about sex or companionship. But not all narcissistic folks cheat. It may be that their validation comes from different places. Maybe some narcissists who are more introverted may be less likely to do that they may not care as much about sex or intimacy. They may not want to spend the time with someone else because they get their attention in other ways, for example, through their work or a hobby. They're still, like all narcissists, they're still finding ways to get validation, but it just isn't coming from another person. If they're so dismissive and disinterested, so if your narcissistic partner is so disinterested it feels like they're cheating, they simply may not be. They just may simply be dismissive and disinterested. They may do other mean things that are unkind and show a lack of empathy, forgetting your birthday, making fun of you, but cheating may simply not be in their wheelhouse. So in these cases, you're experiencing all the ickiness of a narcissistic relationship, but just not that betrayal, infidelity piece. While cheating can break your heart, for some people will say, kind of made the breakup a little easier. Some people will say they had a sort of publicly sanctioned reason to leave. They cheated. And you might be able to rationalize leaving the relationship better. They cheated. But if it's only, and I put only in quotes, if it's only invalidation and dismissiveness and manipulation and gaslighting and reactive rage, well, that may not feel like enough to leave for some people, even though it absolutely is. I have heard hundreds of survivors say, if my partner hit me or cheated, I would leave. Somehow being chronically narcissistically abused wasn't enough. Cheating harms people. It takes a massive psychological toll on the person who's being cheated on, and especially when it's repeated, which is what narcissists do. Like I said, they are the serial cheaters. Infidelity steals trust, and betrayal, and the experience of betrayal is just not good for our mental health. And narcissistic cheaters are different. There are cheaters out there who do feel remorse, take responsibility, go into therapy, change behavior, and they don't do it again. These are not the narcissists. Narcissistic cheaters are repeat offenders. They need the validation and they just keep doing it. You may call them out on it and they may get better at hiding it, but they just keep doing it. They do not take responsibility or accountability. And when a narcissist is cheating and they get caught, they're quick to shift the blame onto you. They will minimize the harm they cause by their cheating. Oh, we didn't really have sex, blah, blah, blah. They will rationalize and justify their behavior, all of which betrays survivors further. And narcissistic cheating is the worst form because they don't tend to change. So you forgive and they do it, and they forgive, you forgive and they do it. It's terrible. Not all narcissists cheat, but be careful that you do not allow that to become a rationalization to put up with the other bad behavior in a narcissistic relationship. Because all of that other stuff, the invalidation and the dismissiveness and the manipulation, that's really bad too. But yeah, no, they don't all cheat. Many do, not all do. I have worked with many people in many narcissistic relationships where infidelity just wasn't a thing. The other stuff was really, really bad, but that wasn't a thing. And that was often very confusing for folks. Again, it's not a unidimensional quality, and that's the case. But would love to hear your stories too. Always drop them in the comments. Thanks again.